They say the hardest thing for a person to do is bury a loved one. But those people never had material like this.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 classic comedy specials of the 90s.
I've only stuck to the entertainment industry because only that can provide me with the sheer depression and self-loathing.
For this list, we'll be ranking the funniest stand-up comedy specials that aired between 1990 and 1999. Have you seen these? What's your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Brett Butler, The Child Ain't Right. Although she's best known for her starring role in the sitcom Grace Under Fire, Butler first found success as a stand-up comic.
New York is like a bigot's buffet, pretty much. You could take the biggest redneck you ever met to New York, and they'd be like, well, shit, this is great. I can hate everybody.
Arguably, it's her stage work that best showcases her biting and satirical wit. Her 1993 special, The Child Ain't Right, captures everything that makes her so hilarious to watch.
I'm married to a New Yorker, and my husband's Jewish, and don't think his parents aren't thrilled shitless with me, by the way.
A personable comedian with a strong connection to her audience, she possesses a manic energy on stage, but with clear lines of thought behind how her jokes and stories connect.
A divorced, oldest Southern Gentile comedian with the bleach job. Well, son, why didn't you just shoot us in our sleep?
The Child Ain't Right offers proof that often stand-up comics shine best on stage.
Besides, 35 is cool. 35 is, according to the articles, when women reach their sexual peak. And this would be great if, according to the same articles, men reach theirs at 17. Proving that if there is a God, it's a man with a sick sense of humor.
Number 9. Dennis Miller, Black and White. Dennis Miller is the sort of comic who doesn't suffer fools and doesn't care if you don't get references that are, in his own words, arcane.
You see, there's that new baldness for men called Walkman baldness, where they get that narrow strip right here between the ears.
His 1990 special, Black and White, was shot for HBO's Comedy Hour, shortly before the comic would leave his position on Saturday Night Live.
They're also going regularly bald. You eventually get that little flesh intersection in the middle of the skull that, when viewed from above, is strangely reminiscent of the wide shot used in the crop dusting scene in Hitchcock's North by Northwest. And maybe a little too arcane a reference this early in the evening.
It was indicative of the direction Miller would take on his own weekly talk show. Smart, acerbic, and shot in an austere manner befitting the comparatively highbrow content on display, Black and White is smooth like butter.
The winds of change are blowing through Europe. Overthrow the communist government in Romania. Ceausescu, what a grim way to go.
Miller glides from bit to bit, hoping that his audience comes along for the ride, but perfectly okay if they just grab onto the pieces that make sense. It's witty, razor-sharp comedy.
Well, it could have been worse. At least he had overthrow alert. My regime has fallen and I can't get up!
Number 8. David Cross, The Pride is Back. The Pride is Back was David Cross's first full-length special and perfectly encapsulates his unapologetic style of comedy.
And that's another thing I love is when anybody gears their advertising to like a younger demographic and they try to skew stuff, and hip it up.
Cross had already seen cult success with the HBO program Mr. Show, but The Pride is Back sees Cross truly coming into his own.
Henderson Valley eggs! You're gonna love our eggs!
The jokes vacillate between political commentary, over-the-top satire, and social observations with an underlying tone of darkness that makes the special a time capsule of late 90s edginess.
The best thing I saw in High Times a couple months ago, the one with Ozzy Osbourne on the cover, holding the big bowl of weed up to the camera. And on that one, it says, lower right-hand corner, it says, who really killed MLK?
Cross enlightens and offends in equal measure and makes no apologies for any of it.
High Times, crack the conspiracy. They did it. They did it, man. New York Times ain't got shit on High Times.
Number 7. I'm Telling You for the Last Time. This Grammy-nominated comedy album and its corresponding TV special were recorded shortly after Jerry Seinfeld's iconic sitcom went off the air.
The funny thing to me about being in these cabs is that when you're in Manhattan, for some reason, you don't get scared no matter how fast the guy goes. Well, he's driving fast and recklessly, but he's a professional.
Its title signified the retirement of certain bits associated with that show, and as a result, serves as an awesome greatest hits sort of presentation that's fantastic for both new fans and old.
Tiny slot for used razor blades. They always have that. Who is shaving on the plane?
There's quite simply no one who does observational humor quite like the master himself.
And shaving so much, they're using up razor blades? Is this what's happening?
And I'm telling you, for the last time, feels just as fresh today as it did back in 1998.
Very impressed with this seedless watermelon product that they have for us. They've done it.
The television version also featured plenty of special guests like Gary Shandling, Robert Klein, and George Carlin, firmly entrenching Seinfeld alongside other greats.
I mean, other scientists working on AIDS, cancer, heart disease, these guys are going, no, I'm going to devote myself to melon. I think that's much more important. Sure, thousands are dying needlessly, but that's got to stop.
Number 6, Denis Leary, No Cure for Cancer. The unfortunate elephant in the room within the world of stand-up comedy is the practice of stealing routines.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get one of those tracheotomies, so I can smoke 2 cigarettes at the same time.
Denis Leary's No Cure for Cancer was hugely popular back in 1992, but accusations immediately flew that the comic was heisting the persona of cult comic hero Bill Hicks.
I will guarantee you, if the plane is going down, the first announcement you're gonna hear is, folks, this is your captain speaking. Look, light them up, because we're going down, okay?
We'll get to his work in a moment, but the pair were actually friends prior to the release of No Cure for Cancer, a relationship that effectively ended after the special.
They have to get hands-on to try to change the planet so that maybe 25 years from now, he can live in a world without war in a country.
Leary is clearly doing a Bill Hicks impression here, but it's a damn good one, with enough of his own personal spin to make No Cure for Cancer equally iconic.
And other times I think, hey, him.
And his music video for Asshole still makes us laugh to this day.
I drive really slow in the ultra-fast lane while people behind me are going insane.
Number 5, Bill Hicks, Relentless.
Well, it takes more energy to frown than it does to smile. Yeah, it takes more energy to point that out than it does to leave me alone.
You be the judge. Did Denis Leary steal his act from Bill Hicks?
You know my problem? I watch too much news.
The debate is certainly valid, but perhaps a better explanation is that Leary presented Hicks's apocalyptic, scorched earth style of comedy and made it commercially viable.
War, famine, death, AIDS. Then you look out your window, it's just...
This is because Hicks constantly challenged his audience to be on his level. He was an intelligent and savvy comedian who wasn't afraid to delve into deep and uncomfortable places.
These musicians today who don't do drugs and in fact speak out against them, we're rock against drugs. Boy, they suck.
But his Relentless and Revelation specials speak to Hicks's iconoclast soul as a comedian who gleefully enjoyed skewing sacred cows.
Hey, buddy, we're Christians. We don't like what you said. I said, then forgive me.
Number 4, George Carlin, Jammin' in New York. When comedy legend George Carlin says that a certain special is a personal favorite, you stand up and take notice.
When you drink grapefruit juice in the morning, do you go... I do too. Why do we drink it?
Jammin' in New York was Carlin's favorite performance he did for HBO, and it's easy to see why. Sure, You Are All Diseased from 1999 was also fantastic, but Jammin' in New York possesses a dangerous live energy that presents Carlin at his unfiltered best.
War on poverty, the war on crime, war on litter, the war on cancer, the war on drugs. But you ever notice there's no war on homelessness, is there? Nah, no war on homelessness. You know why? There's no money in that problem.
George is on fire during this performance, referencing everything from conflict in the Middle East to his mistrust of the U.S. government.
Got no steel industry left, can't get health care to our old people, can't educate our young people, but we can bomb the shit out of your country, all right?
There's also space given to Carlin's legendary wordplay, with enough balance of experimentalism and observational humor to make this one a classic.
Did you ever notice how awful your face looks in a mirror in a restroom that has fluorescent lights? Every cut, scrape, scratch, scar, scab, bruise, boil, bump, pimple, zip, wart, welt, and abscess you've had since birth all seem to come back at the same time.
Number 3, Comedy Central presents Mitch Hedberg.
You know, you can't please all the people all the time. And last night, all those people were at my show.
We lost Mitch Hedberg far too young back in 2005, but at least we have classic comedy specials like this one from 1998 to remember his genius.
I like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs.
Hedberg was labeled the next Seinfeld by Time magazine at the time of his death, and it's easy to see why. The material on Comedy Central Presents Mitch Hedberg was surreal and challenging, strange and idiosyncratic, to the point where there was really nothing quite like it, both at the time and today.
He had a mustache, a goatee, a pair of earrings, a pair of sunglasses, his hair was in a ponytail, and he was wearing a hat. He said, "Hey, you got a lot of nerve." I said, "Hey, you got a lot of cranium accessories."
Mitch's delivery was laconic and low energy, but intentionally so, drawing on Hedberg's quirky perspective on life to catch lightning in a bottle. We miss you, Mitch.
Dufresne, party of two. But then if no one answers, they'll just go right on to the next name. Bush, party of three. Yeah, but what happened to the Dufresnes? No one seems to care.
Number 2, Eddie Izzard, Dressed to Kill.
Pol Pot killed 1.7 million people. We can't even deal with that.
The unconquerable spirit and energy of Robin Williams loomed large over the comedy of Eddie Izzard, particularly on this special from the late 90s, Dressed to Kill.
You killed 100,000 people? You must get up very early in the morning.
You have to be willing to hang on for dear life during Eddie's relentless race towards comedy gold, as this special doesn't stop or slow down for a minute.
The Spanish Inquisition wouldn't have worked with Church of England. Talk, will you talk? But it hurts. Well, loosen it up a bit, will you?
It's easy to get lost in Izzard's stream of consciousness style of comedy that goes everywhere from existential musings to local observations and direct interactions with the audience. Izzard turns the English language into an art form here, and Dressed to Kill continues to bear comedic fruit for everyone willing to listen.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Chris Rock, Bring the Pain. Chris Rock reportedly rehearsed and practiced for weeks in order to prep himself for his second HBO special, Bring the Pain, back in 1996. And it shows.
And it's all about race. That shit wasn't about race. That shit was about fame. Because if OJ wasn't famous, he'd be in jail right now.
Rock was on fire this night, and the audience definitely felt it, creating a symbiotic sort of magic that's infectious.
We got so much food in America, we're allergic to food. Allergic to food. Hungry people ain't allergic to shit. So you think anybody in Rwanda's got a lactose intolerance?
The special earned Rock 2 Emmys and a Grammy for his efforts, despite the fact the material doesn't pull any punches.
Everything white people don't like about black people really don't like about black people.
There are jokes in this special that Rock has never performed since, but that doesn't really matter, because Bring the Pain exists, and for that, we're eternally grateful.
Every single man in here got a choice to make. And you know what the choice is. Commitment or new.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.